it's good. We have a number of people coming in. So yeah, I've finished spinning up my site. It didn't take so long. I don't want to keep on logging in, so I'm going to turn on this click to log in. And then I have my WordPress site that is ready for me to use with just those few options. So I don't need to set up databases and all those things that we usually do. And it comes clean, no plugins are in there. The default themes are actually showing, so I'm going to remove this because we are going to develop our own custom theme. So let me just leave only this default. I'm going to go into the plugins section and go to the add new. So I'm going to install two plugins. One is going to be this Gutenberg plugin, which is going to allow me to use even stuff that is not already in this version of WordPress. I'm using version 6.11, but there are other things that are improvements in terms of the editor that I need to have coming from Gutenberg. So I'll activate that to allow me to use the latest stuff that will probably come in the next version of 6.2. Then the other plugin that I'm going to add on here is going to be create block theme. Now the reason I'm installing this particular plugin because it's going to allow me install fonts from Google and so on much easily. So those are the two plugins I'm going to install for now, and everything else is just going to be from the block editor. So two plugins, create block theme and Gutenberg. So what happens? When I go to the appearance section, that's where we're going to be. We are going to create a block theme. That's the first thing we shall do. And I'll choose create a blank theme, and I'm going to call this W WordPress compiler and say WordPress compiler. Oh man, Meetup. Don't need all these other things. I'll just say WPKLA. I'll just drop this on my GitHub so that people who want to look at it can look at it. So by here I'll say David of UG-theme, and then I can upload a screenshot if I want to. So let me take a screenshot of David's site, and I'll just do this from my computer. I'll browse this, should come on my desktop. I'll upload this, and then that's all I need to do. I'm going to click generate, and this theme is ready to be installed. So we have it here. The image is not blowing up well because it's not the full version, but I'm just going to activate it, and then I can delete this default theme. So we've generated our own custom theme, we've not done any code at all, and what I want to do is visit this right now, and you're going to see it's very blank, okay? So there's nothing to it. I'm just going to admit this person, and then we'll come back. So we have everything is blank, there's nothing to it, but the reason we have even all this information in here is that when we go to our editor, you're going to find that we have a couple of things that are already in there. So these items are showing because we have this in our template. So one of the things that you need as you're developing in WordPress is an index page, which is basically like your home page. So I'm going to allow that. Let me see if I can turn this off. If I turn this off, yeah, when turned off, everyone who isn't invited must ask to join. Let's see if that's going to allow people to just join on their own. So one of the things that we need in WordPress is just having these items in here. So I'm just going to delete them, and then we'll start off with a blank canvas. So I'm going to remove all these blocks that are here, and I have a question. Do you guys know what blocks are anyway? let me just start from there. You can feel free to drop in the chat and say um, whether if you don't understand what blocks are, you can just drop in and then I'll quickly do a quick introduction. But basically what blocks are is um, it's like an interface. Let's say I want to add a paragraph. All I need to do is click add paragraph and I can start typing. And that's it. If I want to add an image, I can use an image block here, and I'll say let's upload or pick from the media library. So for example, I will need David's image, so I'm going to open this image. Let me do this. Copy image. I can't paste it directly like that, so I need to download it first, so I'll save this image. And then because I wanted to import an image, I can actually upload this and I'll have it. So this is part of my library. That's how you work with the block editor to just keep on adding images and so on. So I'm going to go back to our blank shape that we have. So we have a blank canvas that we are ready to work with. And when I click on this item, it tells me manage all templates. So I can access templates from here, or I can actually click on this, click this back arrow, and I can go and look at the templates or manage them. If I go a step back, I am able to see templates and template parts. So let me start from explaining what template parts are. So if I look at David's site, if I look at this section up here where we have his image, the name, about me, which is the menu, and this button, this is something that I could call a template part. Why? Because when I open the about me, it's most likely that I'm going to see the same thing here. So I don't need to recreate it every other time. I can create it once and then I'll be able to use it on all the different pages that I'll get. So if I also scroll down, you're going to see that his footer looks like this. So what I'm going to do is just develop two template parts, one which is a header for this section, and then I'm going to create also a footer which looks like this. So that's the first thing I should do. So I'm going to go back into my template parts here, and by default you're already given a header and a footer. So let me just work with the header first. So what I will do is just start off this with a blank space, because that's what I want to do, and I'm going to introduce what we know as a group block. So a group block comes with different layouts that you can choose, but I'm going to go for blank because I just want to start off blank. Now inside here I can add a block which is, let's say, a site logo, and I can click on this to add our picture that we had here. So site logo, which is going to be this, and there's this icon here on the side which allows you to get like options for this. Okay, now because I have this image, remember at the other time it was round, so I'm going to just click on this and I'm going to go in the style section and I'll click this button which says rounded, and automatically I have my site logo in a round format. This is the part where you guys click that icon and you celebrate, like we celebrate. And yeah, so I'm not even getting notices when people log in. But that's the part, if we've already developed our logo, we already have it just by uploading it. Now the next part we need to work on is this button and this menu. So admit that person quickly, and then I'll come back here and I'm going to add a navigation item. So I'm going to look for navigation. So when I click navigation, we have that already here as a block, and there's this little thing that usually helps me to see the structure. So I can click on it. If you've used Elementor, there's something called I forget, I think it's also called a navigator or something, but it works the same way. So I can see the structure of my blocks what is inside, what is outside. I can actually remove some of these things because I didn't need all that space, but this doesn't look really nice. So I can click Ctrl Z to undo that, and I can get this space and I can reduce it to something like, let's say 10 or 20. Okay, so since I have that on top, remember there is some space up here, we should also be able to have some space down here. So I can actually just right click this and say duplicate, and because I've duplicated it, I can just click this button to bring it down. So you're going to realize with the editor you have so many options. You can click these up and down arrows, or you can drag and drop this. So you can select an item and rearrange everything inside that particular section. So yeah, this is what we have so far. We have this site logo in here, which we are clicking on. If I click on the group block, you can see this is what we have, but I would love to split it. So I'm going to add a column that I need. I'm going to click here and say let's add a column, and that's going to give me the option to just do something like this. So I'm going to add a 3 by 3 column. I'll look at this section to guide me as I do this. So I'm going to bring my column inside my group block. I'm going to bring this site logo, drop it in this first item in the column, then I can get this navigation and then drop it inside here, and you will see that this is ready here, and I can choose to have this whether it's starting from the beginning or it's from the left. So I'm going to just choose left because that's what we sort of have here. We have this space in between here, so everything is going to be on the left. And let's say if I want to add something else, I can go for blog. Let's say I add this, you'll see that it keeps on adding stuff from the right hand side as it's moving to the left. And then once I've done that, I can actually edit this column and say let's add one final thing to make this 3. We're going to add a button in here, and that button will allow us to do what David is doing here, and he has a page that you click on. So for now I'm just going to link to that. So let's just say download. I need to get this away. So download book, and because this button has options, I can click on this link item and then I'll add that to be linkable. So let me save this, and one other thing I'm going to do is just let me make this, let me give this a background. So I'll go back to this styles panel and I'm going to give this a background which is black to look like what we have there. So this is black. Our menu has disappeared. Let me select our menu from this section, and I'll come here and choose to say let's have the text in white, so that is visible. So I'll hit save now, admit a couple of people, and then if we come back and try to preview our site here by reloading, we don't have anything. So I need to actually go and add this template part, which, let me first fix these few things. Let me add this space inside the group block. Okay, I messed up on this. Let me, move this down so that we have space up and down. Hit save again. I'll go back to my templates, which is templates here, look at the index. The first thing that I'm going to do here is click add, and what I want to do is add a header, which is a template part. So I can choose the template part here, which is going to be our header. So this was already existing and we can fix it and just drop it in there. So when I save this and reload this page, you're actually going to see we have this header. I've not yet styled or done anything to it, but I just want to show you that you can actually do so much without writing any pieces of code. So we have this footer, and then if we were to go on the sample page, you're going to see that this is still showing up. If we go to the index, if you're looking up here, you're going to see we are in the index. Click on this, we're on the sample page, so it's duplicating all over, and we can edit it at any other given time. So with what I've shown you so far, I just want to hear from everyone what your thoughts are so far before we can jump on into making another template part. So feel free. I'm just going to allow you to turn on your microphone and share with us your thoughts so far. What do you guys think? Just turn on your... What do you guys think? Turn on your microphone. Let's hear your thoughts about this. Okay, it's fast. Someone says it's fast. Have you found any part that is confusing? I know I was moving a little bit fast because I understand it, but have you found it confusing in any way? Okay. Any other thoughts? Okay, I'll consider that as a green light, but feel free to interject at any time and just stop me. This is not a monologue or whatever, but just feel free, let me know, and then I'll be able to stop and just explain. Cool. So we have our header here. If I look at this, we had a lot of space up here. We have this space up here that we don't need, and I'll be able to fix that. So let me first push this below our navigation and just do a little bit of styling. So this is becoming better. We need to make these sort of like inline with what's going on. So I can actually select this, click on this item and choose align it in the middle. I'll do the same thing for this and align this in the middle. I'll click save, reload, and it's looking like what I want it to look like. The only thing that is left for me to do is let me just edit this template part a little bit more. So inside here we have this column which I'm going to choose to, instead of being this, I'm going to make it a little bit wider. So let me save this, and if I come back and preview this, you will see that it gives us a little bit more room to what we want, sort of like what we have here. And I think we don't need that spacer. Yeah, we don't need these two spacers. And okay, yeah, maybe we do. Okay, we don't need them, but I can go to this group item, I go to the style, and then in this particular section we have this thing called padding, and I can use padding in a very unique way. So first of all, let me unlink the top, right, bottom, and all of this, and let me go for just adding padding top and bottom. So you can use these items that hover, or you can choose to click on this icon and change what you want to have. So I'm going to use pixels, and I'll say let's have 20 pixels up there, and then at the bottom we're also going to do 20 pixels. And if I hit save, this should be looking better. Okay, we'll go with that for now. I see this is orange. When we hover over it, it's a blue. Now there is something that we can do a bit differently with this. I'm going to click on this buy button up here. So in this part we have a styles section, a styles panel, and if I click on this, we have this thing. The reason I'm having all these pop-ups is because this is a new install of my editor, but in here we can determine things like the typography, we can determine global colors, we can determine the layout that we want. So you remember when I was spreading this out, it went to 1000 pixels. So in here I can choose to say let's have this at 1 to 80, so that's a bit wide, and then the content can remain at that, doesn't matter, we'll see the content a little later. If I save that and reload, you're going to see that we've gotten a bit more space on the side, on either side. So, which is really cool, just by fixing this. If you know how to code this stuff, it would be a nightmare. So here in the colors, I'm going to choose to change my buttons, and I'll say my text color should be white, and for the default color it should be orange for my buttons. So that will be like the default setting I have. I can have background color set or text color set, but I'm just going to leave those for now. It would be a wonderful tool for people who design, like if Arthur and so on, guys who understand design. And I can fix this spelling error by just clicking in there and have a download book. Speaking much better. Alright, I need to remove this block because it's putting that white space up there. So I'm going to save this, and if we look at our header now, it's as clean as we wanted it to be, and the only thing that is not yet nice is this color, is these fonts. So let me show you something. I'm going to inspect this. I'm just going to look at what font he uses, and he uses a font called Poppins. Okay, so what I'll do is go back to my settings area, and I'm going to go to appearance, and I'm going to go to manage theme fonts. If you remember, when we were starting out, we installed a plugin called Create Theme Block. It's the one that gives you these manage theme options. So I'm going to click on load Google font, and I'm going to look for Poppins. So you can get all the fonts from Google right here. So all I need to do is select all these fonts that I need to have. I'll click add them to my theme. Okay, is that taking longer because of my internet? Yeah, so we have our fonts in the system, and you're going to see that they're already available here, and you can even preview them if you want to see what's going on. So we have these available as Poppins, and so when I go back to my editor, I can actually just select these items, and when I go to the template, click on header. Okay, this is not doing what I need it to do, so let me just go back here, index, go to template parts, header, and select this part. I can choose to style this and go for a different text, so I can click on typography here, go to font family, and I can choose either system font, which is that, or I can go for the default. Now why do we choose the default? Because we can actually come here, go to typography, and choose the default font, which can either be our system's font or the font that we added through Google. So let me first save this system's font. I need to go back and see what I did wrong with my managing fonts. I see this, if I remove system's font, it will stick there. Okay, these Google fonts are already there. So yeah, we have this showing up. Go to template parts inside our header. I'll click on this. Let's go here, look for typography, font family. This is weird. That's awkward. So let me look at this again. Systems font. Why isn't my Google font loading? Oh, I have options here for me in the appearance. I don't know why my Google font is not loading, but I'll look at that. We'll look at that a little bit later, but we're able to change the fonts. So let's do, we've spent about 30 minutes already. Let's look at the footer. And inside our footer, we want to do something that's more or less like what we did before when we're doing the header. So let's scroll down to the footer. You'll see it has this copyright, all rights reserved, and then we have this other menu down at the bottom. So the first thing that I'm going to do is blow this out to be wide, and inside here I can add a column, and those are just going to be 2 items. Inside the column I can add a paragraph, and here I can add I don't need to add copyright, I just need to add this text here. And then at the very end here I'm going to add a navigation, and this can just be a page list if I want to have that. And by clicking this I can actually style. I don't want a page list. Let me go for a navigation, but I can control a little bit more. So let me remove the page list. Let me have a navigation. So we have this navigation which we can actually fix from here. We can edit. Why is it staying page list? Alright, so we have this footer, we have this. I'm going to align these to the right so that we have them like we did before. If I click on this, you're able to preview and see what we have. So saving this quickly, I need to make sure that that's what we did have. Yes. The only thing I need to do here is select my overall group, click the style, and then I can add a border on the top. So I'm going to disconnect the borders on top, and I'm going to do a border top only with a black, and I need to just add 1 pixel of this, or you can choose any other thing that you want to do, and you can choose a style. So we have this dashed, we have the dotted versions, and I'll click save. And if I come here and reload this, it will not show up because yes, I forgot to add the template. So let's go back to our templates in the index, and then of course I need to edit my index. So what I need to do is click on this and say I need to add a footer, and I'm not seeing what I want here, so I'll just come back to this section here, click footer, which is a template part. I'll click choose because we don't want to start with a blank version, we already have what we need. Oh, this is a header, I need to add, sorry about that, I need to take this away because we don't need a header, we just need a footer. So I'm going to click on this, type footer again, and we have footer here. So I'll click footer, and our footer is already here. So when I click on that, hit save, we already have our footer that shows up. It has our dotted line. I don't think it looks like what David had. Yeah, it was a solid line for David, so we can also change it to a solid line. For now I'm going to leave it as this dotted thing, and you can see we basically have the same thing that we had initially here. So the only thing that we don't have is all his content from here, which I can actually just go ahead and copy. like Microsoft Word, and then because I know this is his About Us page, I'm going to come back here in of course in WordPress, and I'll say about us, or about David in this particular case. Drop all his content from here. You'll see it saves up all the links that we had. It keeps all the header tools, all the stuff he had done with the SEO is still reserved here. And when I hit publish, I can actually view this page, and when I go to it, I don't see my content because I've not added a content block inside my template. So this index we've been working with is a template that goes all site-wide until you develop independent pages for each individual look. And I'll explain what that means a little bit later. But for now, let's just go back to our index here, and I'm going to click. You see when you click here, you get that little plus sign, or you can click something from here and say, let's have a post content block. So I can click on that, and you'll see that we have it here. All I need to do is just move it up. When I save this, it's not going to be styled properly because I don't have the space on the right, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how you can do it quickly. So we have this right here, and we can't do much to it because this is a content block. It's a post content block, but I'm going to click here and look for a group block. Okay, and I'll select this single look of a block. I'm going to move it up right here, and I'm going to select our post content block, and I'm going to drag and drop it right here. And this quickly shows you that our content is going to actually look like the way we've styled it. If I reload this, you will see that we have David's page quickly as we had it before. It's the proportions are not yet right like David has them because I've not given it all the thought that I need to, but you can see that it is spanning relatively a little bit smaller in size. So I can actually come back here. We can close this page, we don't need to edit that anymore. I can come back here, click this, and say let's go for wide. And when I reload this, it actually looks like David's site, and we've not done any coding whatsoever to what he has here. So if you remember when we were dealing with this item here in the styles, we had a part that allowed us to do the layout, and it allowed us to have a content size. So we can actually come here and say let's have our content size as 960. I'm going to click save on this, and when I come to this alignment and click none and hit save, when I come back here, you will see this is going to the 920 size. It's fitting itself within the content space that we had defined. So it's not taking the wide option that we had given it, but rather it's consuming the space within the content area. So this gives us David's website, at least the single page, as it should be. So if we were to add another page, let me look at his site again. So let's go to just the blog, and we're going to steal something from the blog. So let's go for this item. He has all this content which we are going to steal, and we're going to drop it in a page called when not use a for each loop in JavaScript. So I'm going to go back to my editor, and I'll go to posts, add a new post. I'm going to drop all of this content here. I need to capture this title because that's what we had. I'm going to hit publish, and because we are reloading this, we won't have this item, but just like the way WordPress works, we can set up a blog page. So inside the settings, in general, We don't have that. It should be in reading. Yes, we can set up a static site, so we'll have a page which we'll call home later, and then here we're going to have, we can create a new blogging page. So let me just change this to sample page, and then this will be, our homepage will be about David. So if I reload this here, click on the sample page, you're going to see that we have our blog showing up here as the content. So I don't need to do anything. Every time I create more content, it's going to adopt the index template that we have had. But as well, I can design individual pages for the different blog pages if we need to have that. So I know I've been speaking for like 15-17 minutes straight, but I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think? Did I lose you somewhere and you want to turn off? But or there's something I can actually explain and we can be able to move on. Yeah, let me hear your thoughts. Are there any questions? Arthur, yes, Elementor is a navigator. Okay, there's something they told me to try. You need to leverage rights. Do that, right click on the participant's name. Yeah. Any questions for me? Yeah, Arthur, shoot. Go ahead. Mhm. Yeah. Now, you ask a very neat question. If you have designed a website before, do you see we didn't do much here? You realize creating this navigation is a nightmare. Just creating this thing that drops and clicks like that. But by default, this is responsive. It's responsive to a particular degree. Now all I need to do is go and style this for mobile. But you already see you have the navigation, which is clickable. You can close. Let me just click it. And you'll see it changes. So we can make it look a little bit better by going into the editor. So I'll go back to the editor and appearance, and I need to go to the templates, click on the index, go ahead to edit it, and I can use what is it? View. Now there's this part here that says view. You can see what your site looks like on tablet or even on mobile. So because we're in the mobile section, I can be able to look at this and say, let's justify it to the right. It's not going. Left. Okay, that can be, this can be our first error. Yeah, we have a site logo. Let me move this in here. Oh, I can't, because this is a different thing. Okay, site logo, we have this block. Let me look at this structure now. So in this column we have site logo, we have the navigation, and then I think I can move this on the right. That means we can remove this column. Let me view this in desktop mode now. Okay, I broke it. I broke the site. Let's go ahead and view this again in mobile. So this is what it would be mobile, and at this point I can use styling, and then of course in here we can look for the appearance. This is typography. Group block. So in the group block we can look at position is default, which is okay. style. That's what we're looking for. And I can unlink that. So to the right, I'm going to add some 20 pixels, and then to the left as well, add some 20 pixels. So you can see that we are fixing this properly. I'll view this again on desktop to make sure I've not broken it, and it still looks fine. Tablet still looks fine. Mobile looks pretty well. So I'll save this, reload this, and after we have it on mobile, you have some spaces here, and of course we can fix the spaces up here. I just wanted to make sure that I have what we have here looking nice. So yeah, any other question you can ask as I try to experiment with this here. Yeah, please feel free to ask questions. Yeah. Yeah, shoot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yes. So I know most of the designs that we have on the blog right now look block like one block at a time in terms of nature. This is a Rich Table is a guy who has always kept up with designs um, in Gutenberg or in the block editor, and he does that. There's a, have you heard of Frost WP? Frost WP is a default theme that you can build on top of like it's a theme that you can have a child theme on, and this is what they do. You can do this kind of patterns and designs. um, so this is something that is done in XD, and you can click to view more stuff. All this, by the way, is all block editor. So let me look at the portfolio. So there's this portfolio thing, view the project. Let me see, who else has played with block? I'm forgetting his name. Oh yeah, WP Beginner should be able to give us some good stuff. The best 21 full site editing stuff. So seed prod, Divi, Astra, Ultra, Guten theme, Brixie. No, this is not what we are looking for. Full site editing. Generate Press also uses blocks. You can build on top of it. Yeah, block press. Okay, let me show you something. This is a site that we built for the block editor model. It's a site that Faith, Sharon, and myself were able to work on, and it's using blocks. It's just that it uses a theme on top of it before you do all these crazy things, but you're able to do all this just using blocks. So you can create your own custom blocks, like some of this stuff we did were custom blocks. Um, yeah, of course you have Twitter showing up there. This is supposed to be a counter, so it counts every day. This is a custom block that does that. Oh, you can see it changed here. It's changing with that. Let's see. You can do Yeah, pretty much customize things. Now you can have PDFs that are readable on the front end, and this is thanks to a block allowing you to do that. Um, what else is there? Yeah, so pretty much this is a very simple design um, in terms of the blocks, but you get to see all this data is stored in custom post types, but we're able to bring it on the front end, and we are able to do a lot more stuff with our blocks. So you can build very complex site. What kind of site would you consider to be complex? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a block which is called a query block. Let me just go to the desktop. So in here you can click and look for. It's no longer is it called query block anymore? I remember they have changed the name from query block. Query loop, yeah. So query loop is a block that you can choose from, and yeah, you can choose different layouts and so on. So I'm clicking it here. This is one of the things we would use on the blog page. You can see it has counters and so on, previous page, next page. But when you click on this query block, you're able to filter by post type. So if I had a million and one other post types, I could be able to choose the post type I want to do. I can change from the newest, oldest, or I can sort by A to Z. I can choose to make it have sticky posts. That's a different component. You can filter by taxonomies. So let's say you had different categories. So you can say, I only want to show posts that are in this category. So you choose the category, add it here, or by tags. And this is all straight out of the blocks. It's all block editor. You're not using any other plugin to do this. Yeah. Yeah, cool. That's a good question. Any other questions from our beloved viewers? Yeah, any other questions, people? Please feel free. I just want to make sure that our Google font is working. I don't know why. Okay, it's loaded. Ah, I think I know why. Yeah, go ahead. Any questions? Just feel free to turn on your microphone and shoot. So one of the things I didn't tell you guys about is, you remember we installed a plugin called Create Block Theme. I just wanted to use it for this managing of the fonts. However, when you have finished building your design, like what we have here, I'm being too fast for my own good. Let me just go to all pages and click edit page. Once you're done designing like your theme and everything, like you're good to go, you're able to, yeah, let me go back here, theme editor, templates index, edit. So once you're done doing all your designs, you're able to export your theme. Like all the different, let's say you've designed an index page, you've designed a blog page and all of that, you can export and download your theme. So when you click on this, you actually get a zip file that you can transfer from one site to another. So inside this particular file, I'm just going to open it up and I'll show you what's in there. So I'm dropping this in my editor. You're going to see that it gives you a theme.json file, which shows you, this is the part where you would ideally have to code, because there are quite a number of things in there. But you have a style.theme which gives you the name of your theme and all of that. You have a screenshot. You have a readme which describes your theme. You have templates which are in HTML. So you have this theme, templates, and then you have, these are template parts. You have the footer, you have the header already in here, and then you can have assets like the fonts which we already have here. So I can actually go in my theme.json and change, because we downloaded the pop-ins, but we are not using it inside our style. So we're going to see pop-ins. It's because it's not declared here. So I can declare a font family, and I'll call this pop-ins, and yeah, it will have a slug of pop-ins, and we'll just call it pop-ins for this. Okay, so let me go and upload this theme. I'm going to compress this, and then I'm going to come back here in my website. Forgive me, I said there was no code to be done, but I just wanted to show you that you can actually export a theme and upload it. Maybe you design it locally, and then you want to upload it on another site. So I'm going to drop this theme. Come on. In the browse, I'll click install, and you'll see it's asking me to replace this because they have the same name and everything. So I'll replace with the active theme. And if I reload this, you'll see this has sort of moved up, but I can actually go and edit it. So in the back end, I'm going to go to the editor, and this time around I'm going to try to make sure that our font is correct. So yeah, templates, go to index, select this, go to our style guide, not the layout, typography, text, and okay, I genuinely don't know why my pop-ins is not showing up anymore. I've done this with another site on another computer, and it worked just fine, which is silly, but that is not working. Okay, yeah, besides the fonts that are not working, which I don't know why they are not working, but we can see this is in the middle. Let's move this in the, yeah, it's justified to the left. And then we just have everything aligned in the middle. Yeah, questions from anyone? Should we continue pushing to see that we have David's design for his homepage completely? And just have this? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll continue with that. I'll continue with the design. So I'm going to duplicate this index page that we do have. So you realize here we have an index page, and we have this part that says manage templates. So we have the index here, and I can add a new template, and I'm going to design one for like a single post or a single page, or I can design something for an archive, an author, category, something for dates, and so on. So let me just do one for pages, and I'm going to do a specific page, for example this, and once we do that, it automatically picks out something for us. Okay, and you'll see it asks us whether we want to use an existing template or we want to start blank. So I'm going to use this existing one and I'll hit save. And you'll see here it gives us the option that we are managing pages, and this is for a sample page, so you can create something for an individual page or you can create something that is generic. So I'm going to go back and edit our index page because we want to do much more. And so I'm going to create a new block. I'll just go here, create look for a group block. The reason I'm using a group block because it allows you to push things like in the middle or something like that. And I'm going to copy this, the text that we have here, and first thing is add a paragraph, paste all that content here, includes blocks. I can select from this point, use my shift, and then just align center all these, so that when I click save here, it will work well. I'm just going to add some spacings to my group block. So go to the style, add some spacing, basically padding. I'll say 30 pixels. And you'll see that gives us space, and then I'll add a background to this, which is going to be a black, but I can go and choose a particular black that I want. And I'm doing it on the wrong group, forgive me. Oh. Let me clear this. I need to do this on the right group. So clear. Oh, the other thing that you'll find is you can do gradients right easily in this section. So you can add some more spice to your web pages just by doing stuff like that. So in the background you can add a gradient, or you leave the color solid. So let me go back to my group here, and I'm going to color it black like we needed it to be. Yeah, no, go ahead. Okay, let me, I'm going to just rejoin, eh? Sorry about that. Yeah, is this better? Is it better? Okay, brilliant. Thank you. I'm sorry for killing your ears. Yeah, so we have this block that is right here, and we can do more stuff to it like we've done before. The beautiful thing about the block editor is that it will tell you, like you see this color, in most times when people design, they'll be happy to have colors like this, but this is not so legible because yeah, people have eye defects and whatever, so you can be able to do that. And maybe if you want it dimmer, you can use, you'll see this thing that pops down here. It warns you when you're really on the edge of having a site that's not legible. So we can have that fixed. We can unlink our top. This is left. We don't need left there. We don't need right. So you can see we have all these things that we can modify, and yeah, that looks just about right. So I'll save this and try to preview our page. yeah, you can see the gradients that we added, um, and all of this. So let me just edit this page. Oh, oh yeah. We were supposed to create a new page. Now, if you don't like this whole concept of having to come click here to get a new page, there's a nice little plugin that was developed. I believe that feature should be in the core, but it's not in the core. There's a lady called Oruba who developed this nice plugin for blocks. I think it's called I can't see it. Yeah, quick post. So this allows you to duplicate like posts or add new items in your menu of sorts. So I'm just going to install this because it makes life really simple, but ideally you don't need it. So let's say in my edit, in my pages, and I'm in this page, and I want to create a new page, I can just click add new page or duplicate page. So I'm going to add a new page which I'll call home. Excuse me. And then I'll go back to my settings here in reading, and I'll change to home. Blast that so that when I click on this, you'll just see the home page is always blank. It doesn't have any other content like we had on the about. So this is it. You can continue to build more stuff on this. So yeah, we wanted to add these other buttons, right? So let me go back to editing the page. And I'm not interested in the page. I want to just work on the editor. And I was working on the index. Yeah, template. Yeah. Index doesn't need this. So I can remove that group. There are just a few things that I've found troubling, okay, like of concern with the editor, and that's basically this, like there is this space in here because of the default classes that you get in the block editor. You can't fix it from here. And that's the only part that I found I needed to do any bit of code inside when I was using the editor. So this is what I'm talking about here. So the developer tools is a tool that I use when I'm trying to see what the issue is with a particular space. And there's this item which is called a WP site blocks. And WP site blocks generally has a funny margin of sort. Just give me a second to see. Yeah, group block. Yeah, so there's this class in WordPress that gives all the different blocks like a starting fix to them, and it's the one that actually adds that little white light there. But with a little bit of CSS you can actually fix this. So what I usually do is just get this and rewrite it to have a margin block dash start of 0. So I'll add this, I will get this and add it to my, like my customizer. So inside here you don't have the customizer anymore, but in your block theme, so that's the only time I really needed to, sorry, I'm using the wrong editor. Where's VS Code? Yeah, in that's the only time I really needed to do some code and I just added that in my style to make sure that I don't have um, that particular white thing coming in every other time that I had that happen. So in all page builders, you're going to have those conflicts, and it's a normal thing in web development. And that's why it is important for you to have a bit of basic understanding in things like HTML and CSS, because once you have an understanding of that, you will know, yes, because of something called specificity, or where you have one CSS rule conflicting with all other places, or it's being adopted by the children, you end up having that, and you will need to fix it by using CSS. So it's not a Gutenberg thing, it's a general issue that we have when we're building the web. One of your components is going to leak into another component. Yeah. So yeah, do we have any questions in there? I just want to leave room for questions, whether we've seen or not seen. I just want us to have those questions so that we can have them answered when we move on to the block editor, if you want to really use the block editor to do your work. Yeah. So feel free to shoot as I try to copy more of David's stuff. Yeah, in this black section. Yeah, Sharon, don't mind, just interrupt and ask your question. So, buttons. Go ahead, Sharon, ask. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you don't need to do that. So in this section right here, we have, you can be able to style the different blocks that you do have. So it goes to a granular level. So you can style, by default, the blocks, but there is also a space for you to do, actually, yeah, I didn't show you this, but we're going to look at it. There is this part called additional CSS, where you can just add that, like the customizer. So in the block themes, you're going to find that you don't need the customizer anymore. That will be a dead space. The customizer came up, if you look at the history of developing WordPress, it came up to fix this. It was a nice idea, but eventually it got abused and it wasn't fully developed. But these simple things like these basically allow you to do what you're doing. So you see, I pasted my CSS there and I was good to go. And I can save that, and I don't need to have the other change that you are looking at in here. I don't need to touch that anymore. Yeah. So you have that space here in additional CSS. The thing I hadn't showed you is this style book. Style book, basically, after you've done designing of your different things, it shows you how each one of those particular sections will look like. So you can style all these default components in WordPress, and then you can see how they will look like. So you remember in the buttons, I added a different color. So that's how they will look like. Yeah. That's where you have this style book showing up. Yeah. Any other questions? Sharon, that was a brilliant question. It's a thing I hadn't thought about showing, but that helped me go that direction. Any other questions? Mr. Dumba, you're very quiet. Yeah. Oh, you're trying it out. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. That's interesting. Yeah, so in this section here, I can go to this and change the size of this typography, and then you can add the appearance to make this regular, and then give it, oh, what did I do? I did something that broke my site. Okay, yeah. Font family, appearance, line spacing, text decoration, and all of that. Okay. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Okay, yeah. Any other questions, friends? Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there are quite a number of plugins that even make it more specific. But yes, you're able to make some parts disappear. Okay, so let me just do this. So one of the things I didn't show you, let me show you this before we actually run off to what Arthur is asking. You can actually make some parts sticky. What I mean by that is let me go and edit this in the header. Template parts, and so I can select my header and make it position sticky. So if I save this, just to show you what's going on with my site, if I scroll down, oh, let me go for a page with a lot of content. I think I broke my site while I was editing that, so let me go back and manage templates, go to this page sample. It still has this. Because I don't have a template for page. Displays all study pages. Okay. Yeah, for all pages. I can use this, take this away, and then add. I'm sorry, people. I'm just trying to fix something that I broke before. I'm not doing anything that is supposed to. Yeah, I'm just replacing a group block that we had used before, and then we had added our content space. So this was actually here. So let me save this. Okay, so this is fixed. Let me go back to pages, go to templates, look for page. That's done. This is something. Okay. Manage templates. I'm going to remove this one because we don't need it. I'll remove this one as well. So let's fix this one, which is okay. So if I click on this, why isn't that working? Pages, edit this. This is the right thing. I think I broke my site with something. Oh, I can't actually just figure out. I don't want to site. General settings. Please keep asking. There was a question that I dodged while I was going to do this, and now I've broken the site. What was the question again? Please forgive me. What was the question again? Yes, 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 yes. So you're able to fix, there are plugins that go to really granular levels of locking things. But even in this, you should be able to hide some stuff away. So let me go to edit, not the page. Editor. So in Elementor, you're able to hide something, let's say when it's on mobile, right? So in this advanced section, you are able to, on particular blocks. So let me see, in the column, block. I think I'm forgetting where that is supposed to be. Settings, that's right. Oh, I didn't want to convert that into a row. Yeah. I don't know the criteria it has, but in this advanced section usually you have the option to hide if it's a particular something. Like what I'm talking about is, you see this column block, when it's on mobile you can change it to a stack that is basically from top to bottom. So if I switch off this button and then I come here and reload this, then try to see this in terms of the mobile view. So let me just use this. You see this stays in a straight line, but if I stack it, then it automatically goes down. So with this, you're able to lock. I don't know why it's not appearing here, but you're able to lock off stuff. Okay, this is not showing it. Let me try to look in the plugin section, add new, because all those plugins actually tap into the existing stuff in the editor. So lock on mobile, lock editor. Locking blocks. Yeah, so locking blocks, there's actually a lesson on this in on the wordpress.org. Okay, create a theme, installation, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, assessments. Yeah, group block, locking, lock. Okay. So let me see this editor, and I'll just go to this. In the options here, you have a lock where you can you lock all blocks. You can disable movement, or you can prevent like the removal. Like someone cannot just come and remove this if they want to. So you can lock in terms of a design. You can create what we call reusable blocks so that you can reuse it in other places without redesigning. Something more of like a mini template of some sort, which you can do. Yeah, so this is the lock thing that I was talking about. So there are other, you can have more advanced stuff like lock this if it's on mobile, lock this if it's on this particular place. Yeah, those are available in extra plugins, but it's going to also come to core. So sort of like in Elementor you have the bare bones, and then there are these other add-ons that come and just do this one thing, or these like 5 things, and they're adding onto the Elementor core. So similarly, the block editor also cannot have every single thing inside its core, but you can have those available for you to use. So the lock mechanism is there. Yeah. You are asking something, David. So, sorry, Arthur. Ah, okay, cool, cool, cool. So yeah, any other questions, friends? Should we consider that the block editor is something that something that you would want to look into at some material time? Is it something that you want to play with going forward and see? Because you're able to use no other theme and just do it on the go. So, yeah, yeah, okay. That would be interesting. I would be very much love to see the end product that you do have at the end of the day. So the one thing maybe that you guys have not asked is about SEO. One of the things that I saw when the block editor was being built by default is when you're writing your content. So ideally in valid HTML you should have only one H1 on your page, right? For those who do SEO, you should always have one H1 tag on a page because that describes what the page is all about. So in our case, our About David is our first page. If you ever want to add another heading tag, the only options you have is header 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So there is no time you're actually going to mess up and have another H1 on the page. It's not going to happen. In terms of SEO, when you're measuring with, let's say, the different tools, Lighthouse or Gmetrics and all of these, Gutenberg sites rank very highly because they have limited HTML that's being pushed in. So, and everything is being condensed. Every other day they improve page speed and so on. So you have something that is going to be very tiny in nature. Unlike where you might have a lot of markup just doing one small thing in other page builders. With a block editor, things are relatively small and much easier to handle. So SEO is a big bonus. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, so at least I've showed you a bit of stuff that you can do with a block editor. So on your personal blog, yeah, yeah, should they, Steven? Um, yes, I should be able to read them here. Okay, let me drop it here. Ah, it's asking for username and password. Steven, can you share with us the password and username so that we can? Yes, I am. Okay, yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it should work. Sorry, let me get this and admit this person in. Yeah, it's just not working. But I'm thinking you are developing on the block editor. You can actually just share your screen. Ah, Arthur is saying the password is admin, admin, admin. No, 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 please share your screen because it's equally important for me to get like real-time feedback from what we've been doing together. So, how comes? Let me check here. Meetings. Yeah, go ahead. I've turned that back on. Hey. No, it's available. I've allowed that. Are you trying to turn on your video or you try it again? Okay, okay. Yeah, I can see. You have some red stuff, some blue stuff. Yeah. Yes, it's in red, but it's looking nice. It's exactly what we've been having. Arthur says, "Wow, impressive." Yeah, so you can see in a space of about 1.5 hours, you're able to do stuff on your own. Is Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Is your header a template part, or is it something you've just used in one space? Okay, okay, good. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. I think you should make a YouTube video where you show changing the domain extension. Because I was about to ask you, hey, you man, you spent some money on buying the domain, but that's on local WP. You change the domain extension. Yeah, yeah, that's a half manga. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Okay. No, no, no. We should be able to see your end result. What kind of teacher is this? No, no, no. You're not interrupting. You're actually sharing knowledge that is very vital to all of us. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay. Thank you. Please buy it for me for my birthday. Okay. Yeah. We have about 15 minutes to 4 o'clock. I think we've generally got a good picture of like what it is to just design stuff and have it on our, like, just do a basic simple thing altogether. I think we've been able to see that. Unless you want me to do something more. What on David's side, what would you love to see? Okay, so like this particular item that we have here, I know this is all picture. It's a whole picture. When I try to flick it, it's a whole picture. I think it's because he wanted to have this image. So let me save this image because it's what I want, and I'm going to do every other thing in text. So let me save this. Yeah, I was being very selfish here. Um, Let me know when you're able to see. Oh, can you? Okay. So this section is what I wanted to do, and I realized that most of these pieces are like image. It's not selectable text, or it's something clickable. So what I've done is I've just gotten the image from this part, and I'm going to add it to David's site. So let me go back to my index that I was fixing, templates, index, and let's go back in here. I'm going to click on, we have a block that is called media and text. just click here, media and text right here. Now this is one of those blocks that are really interesting. Why do I call it interesting? I'm going to upload my image first and foremost. Where's my image? Yeah, cool. So I have my image on one side, and then I can add my content on this other side. A complete guide to industry fruit head. Okay, let's also just assume that was all that he had in terms of content. And now, because I uploaded this on this side, I can actually just click this button and it will flip everything and it will go on the other side. So this media and text thing allows you to do this kind of crazy thing. And if the image is too big, I can actually reduce it and have that. And then the other thing that I would love to do, basing on what he has here, is to change this text from its low case, it's a lower case, but inside here in typography you can actually change the letter case. So I'll click on letter case and I can actually just completely transform this into uppercase without doing much. Is this in Elementor? I don't know if it is in Elementor, but this reminds me of Microsoft Word, really. So we have that, and then this. So I can actually transform this maybe into a heading if I want a header 2, and then this transform into a header 3. Yeah, but this would not be good SEO, just transforming these into headers for the sake. So I can just actually affect that using the styles on this side in terms of the appearance and so on, and then I can just give them a color that will make them look like they're supposed to. Yeah, so that's about it. So we have this. It doesn't look, it looks far away in terms of text. Let me just look at this. Really, and now, is it still bad? Okay, so let me rejoin. Yeah, Sharon, you had your hand up. Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at this, not this one that I'm doing, there is really no need for what do we call them? Yeah, child themes. There is really no need for child themes when you look at this, because you are basically going to play around with different blocks to get whatever you want to get, right? And afterwards you can export it. Export it. The only reason why you would probably want a child theme is because you've seen features that are in that child theme and they're going to be maybe expensive for you to build out, and maybe that's why you would do it. But we are going into a place where we actually don't need child themes. Like you can see, I'm just editing this and I'm doing it as though I'm working with Microsoft Word. So I've just imported a column, and then I have this little thing where I've increased all of this, and I can actually change this to about 10. Same thing, make this 10%, and it's looking much more like what we had here. Yeah. So maybe there would be a button that says a button for grab your copy. Yeah. So I've just shared with you only a tip of the iceberg. Like I told you, the block editor is something that is editable. Like now you see I've just changed that text, the buttons background and all of that. You can do much more. You can have your own style variations. You can have like this button, the way it is styled, it doesn't have to be round like what we have here. Okay, so block, yeah, layout, orientation. You can even change the orientation of stuff if you want to have them. Like for example, this text, this doesn't have it. Yeah, you can do much more. Like you can have different styles of these buttons so that they look like what David has here, where you have these curves on this side. I don't know how he did this, whether it was an image, he used an A tag, and this is in Elementor, and it has a border radius and a shadow. So I can actually just copy this on his button, and I'm going to do some magic in here. Remember we said you can actually have style from here. So click this, come to additional CSS, and I'm going to just say buttons should have this border style that is solid, and then the radius is 30. That's not working. And because this by default is not a button, so it's not thematic, I think it's WP lock button blah blah blah. Let me edit this. The selector we are using is not the correct thing. So there's a little bit, like I said, there is no place you're going to survive without some knowledge of CSS. So you can see I've done that with just like he initially had it. So the buttons are all looking like this with just a little bit of custom CSS. Yeah, which you can use a generator anyway. If you don't know how to, you can just say, you can Google and say how to have a button that has curves. But we've done that, so I think David will be very happy when he sees his buttons are reproducible with just a few lines of additional CSS to this. Yeah, but at any one time he can just come to this and then choose and change the color. So I don't want green anymore, I'm going to have purple, and it'll be good to go. This is something that you can give to anyone to manage for you, and it will work out well. So yeah, that's the block editor for you. So we have only 4 minutes. I'm just going to leave this time for questions and any kind of interaction for now. Otherwise, we've been able to sort of pick David's site and then tear it apart and try to do it in the block editor. Yeah. So questions and more stuff to talk about. Greetings. Hi David, it's good to see you here. What did you feel about your site? Yeah. Yes. It's afternoon. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I can actually, I, I can export the theme to you, and then you can actually just install it and keep on adding to that. That's the beauty of it. It's just a simple zip that you come to this block here and you say export, download, and oh, forgive me, friends. So it's coming up. So whatever I've done, all I need to do is come to options here inside my appearance, and then you're looking at the editor. When I come here, I just need to say download your theme with updated templates and styles. And once I do that, all I need to do is just send you this zip, which you just install and keep on working with. Yeah, 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 yeah. One of the things that we would love to see from you all, like get as feedback, is how your SEO looks like um, once you've, yeah, once you've done that. Yeah, that would be a point of interest for all of us. Yeah, yeah, Moses, shoot. A what? Okay, the highlights. Um, by default, what you need to do when you come to appearance in the editor, all you need to do is, oh, no, it doesn't go off. I switched it off because I thought I was done presenting. Okay, so once you log into your WordPress, I'm hoping that you can see this. You just come to appearance, then come to the editor. Now, in the editor, you have this thing, navigation, templates, and template paths, okay? What you need to focus on, if you're going to make reusable paths across the whole site, you need to go in template paths, and then you can either choose the default head and footer that come along the way and you fix them, or you can even create some new templates that you can use for yourself. Okay, so those are basically reusable parts that you can go over and over. But once you have those sorted, you just need to come to templates and you fix your index page. So you come to index and then you edit it. You can always add from the templates that you do have. So if you look for template part here, you can see you have a footer, which you can always add here. So you can either start blank or you can choose something that you've already edited. So, or you can even get those that are already existing in WordPress. So you're going to see, you've seen Elementor where they give you like templates of stuff that is already existing. So even in WordPress, these are existing and you can fix them and they can do stuff for you. So yeah, you just do that. Keep also adding other blocks and removing, and you will definitely be able to have your whole landing page ready. Once you're done with that, you save it and you're ready to view. As long as you have that index template done, you're good to go. I hope that's helpful, Moses. Yeah. That was a shortcut. Okay, guys, it's 4:03. I don't want to hold you any longer, but feel free to interact, and then yeah, feel free to interact. I'm not going to close you out. This is not like Zoom. I can actually leave and leave you guys just chatting and just talk about this generally. Yeah. So we can have some more questions, but you can leave at leisure. Nothing to keep you here. Yes, Stephen. Oh, okay. 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 So I've seen that. Change. Okay. Yes, it does work. It actually works. The live link works. Well done, Steve. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it will need your computer to stay online, eh? Yeah. Yeah. So feel free, turn on your mic. Let's have a conversation. Okay, people. Me, I'm going to run. I need to go do some stuff. So it was good chatting with you guys. I'll export this and upload it on YouTube for other people to just pick up to see where we failed and where we were successful at the same time. Yeah, always good chatting with you all.